Hello and welcome back to the Sheldon Show. So last time I had an ongoing series basically providing some tips of how you can live a better life. So far we've done CDT, which is cognitive deficit thinking, and then the next vlog I did was self-acceptance, and the next vlog I did was self-responsibility. So today I want to talk about the power of faith and the role that having faith can play in your life. So before I start off, I wrote down my own definition of what faith is before I get into any deeper into this discussion. So for me, and this is my personal definition of faith, faith is an unyielding conviction in one's belief that the outcome desired will overcome the present state of circumstances. So I'll read that one more time. Faith is having an unyielding conviction in one's belief that the outcome desired will overcome the present state of circumstances. So therefore, you believe in something obviously that is yet to happen. You believe in something that you're hoping will happen, right? And for people who are Christians, believers in God, obviously faith is one of the cornerstones of that person's life. So I want to talk a little bit more about why faith is such a big deal. Most of the things we want in life, we don't have them right in front of us. Most of the things that we desire, we don't have them right in front of us. And it means that you have to be patient, right? Patience. It means that you must have patience if you're going to be able to accumulate a lot of the things that you want in life. Because a lot of stuff is not going to happen overnight. It takes a while for things to manifest. And oftentimes things manifest in their own time. So I can give you a couple examples in my personal life where I think fate really played a big role. When I moved to the U.S., and I'm actually from Trinidad and Tobago, so when I moved to the U.S. several years ago, it's a long time ago when I moved here, and I only had, from my recollection, probably roughly around $300, right? And this was to go to college, and I had no money to pay for school. And I remember when I was leaving that my grandmother said to me, "Go with God, have faith, work hard, and everything will work out for you." Obviously easier said than done, but that's essentially what I did. I left, I had faith, I worked hard, and I am where I am today because of the hard work that I've put in. But I certainly needed to have faith to come here with no money, really no one to depend on, and then to be in a situation where I didn't know how I was going to pay for school. So it's one of the instances and one of the situations where I definitely need to have faith. Me, away from home, no one to help me. Obviously don't come from a family of financial means, so it's not like I could pick up the phone and say, "Hey, could you send me some cash?" or whatever the case is. I had to do that on my own. The next situation I could think of is when I found myself sleeping in my car for just a couple nights, because I had ended up in a roommate situation that turned out to be just an absolute disaster. Ended up rooming with the wrong person. And that was also a learning lesson about friendship as well, something else I'll talk about later on. So for a couple days, I don't want to necessarily use the word homeless, but I guess I was, because I slept in my car for a couple days. And again, not knowing how things were going to turn out, things did turn out eventually. Ended up staying with one of my friends. Again, that was an instant where I felt like I definitely needed to have some faith. Another circumstance would be when I was doing my master's degree. I remember I was at the University of Texas at Arlington and doing my master's degree, and although I had a tuition scholarship, there were still fees and stuff that I couldn't afford. And I was just days and then hours away from being dropped from my classes. And at that point in time, being dropped from my classes would have hurt my immigration status because I was still on a student visa at that point. And so I remember at the last minute, this guy, right, kind of kind of out of nowhere. Although it was one of my friends who knew him, and he was wealthy, and he just showed up just 3 hours before. 3 hours before I was, the close of business for the day, and just paid off whatever I'd owed the university at that point. And then I was able to obviously stay in my classes and all that kind of stuff, and went on. And the only thing he said was to just pay it forward. And that's why I started the scholarship that I started, because I've been very fortunate to be in situations and circumstances where, when I just didn't think that things would work out, there was someone to just kind of help me out and kind of push me to the next level, until to get me to the point where I am today. So faith is a big deal. I remember walking around in my apartment also when I was doing my master's at UT Arlington, and not having water, and having to walk to the university back to my duplex that I was living in with milk jugs to collect water, or a bucket or something like that. So I would shower at the university, do this, and I'm going through all this difficulty while I'm in school, and obviously I'm maintaining great grades, and just hoping and praying that one day all that sacrifice that I was going through, all that that I was putting myself through, would eventually pay off one day. I've since gone on to earn my doctorate degree and all that type of stuff, but I started off with nothing, right? Imagine you coming to a new country, you've got nothing, you got $300, and you just in a dorm. I started mowing yards, and you name it, just working for people, doing little stuff like that, and to get to the point where you are today. Now that takes some faith. And I think a lot of times we want things immediately, and they're not going to happen like that. So let me back up. Another thing that I don't think I've really told a whole lot of people was, I remember when I started teaching, because for those of you who don't know, I actually teach college. And when I started teaching as an adjunct instructor, and adjuncts don't make a whole lot of money, right? And it was just when I had, gotten my green card and all that kind of stuff. And so I started teaching as an adjunct. I remember my car broke down, and I needed to, it happened at the time of the month when I needed to wait to get to the end of the month to be able to get that next check, to be able to put some money together to get another old car. And I was teaching on Friday nights and Saturday mornings at the college that I still teach at. And it was just to the point where I couldn't get a ride to get home. I mean, things were just tight. So what I did was, I think you do what you got to do to get where you need to go. I brought with me to work my blanket and everything on a Friday, and just closed the door, and I slept in the office, and then got up and brushed my teeth in the restroom and went and I taught my 9 to 12 and my 1 to 4 o'clock classes. And obviously I had to teach a 6 to 9 class as well. And I did that for probably 2 or 3 weeks, I think it was. I got my car, obviously, at the end of the month and all that. But again, it's just faith. And a lot of times you see people where they are, and you don't just get there by wishing that you get there. It takes a lot, and it took a lot for me to be able to leave my family, because to be honest, my family didn't have faith in me, not because they didn't love me, but because no one in my family had ever reached to the levels that I wanted to go. So it was very difficult for them to understand what I wanted to do with my life. And so, leaving home, coming here, having these big dreams, and now finally being able to live these dreams, it took some believing, it took some faith. It just took me really, really believing that ultimately things were going to work out. So that's kind of really what I wanted to talk about in this vlog today. Is a lot of things you're going to want in life, and they're not going to happen overnight. It took me, I think, maybe the better part of 10 or 12 years to kind of really get myself together after moving here, through ups and downs and trials and tribulations and struggles. But I did it, right? And That to me is what matters at the end, but you really have to believe in yourself. And I think that's where the faith comes in. I believe that if I really, really want something, that I can accomplish it. And my belief in God helps to fuel that a lot. Helps. That's where a lot of that. It helps to fuel the passion that I have for success. So I just want to encourage you that no matter what it is, don't let people tell you can't do it, because a lot of people told me, even my elementary school principal said that I was not going to be anything. And I remember where she was standing when she said that, and I remember where I was standing when she said that. People who just were surprised at how I performed in school academically. No one really believed in me, basically, is what I'm trying to say, except obviously for my grandmother, who's now passed away. But you really have to believe in yourself, and you have to surround yourself with people who believe in you as well, who help to fuel that passion that you have. But you got to have faith. If nothing else, you have to have faith. And faith is not something you have for a short term. Faith is something you have for the long term, because you just don't know how long it's going to take for something to manifest. So if nothing else, make sure that you have faith, because sometimes all you need is just a little bit of faith and a little bit of patience, and that will take you a long, long way. Thank you again for tuning in to my vlogs, tuning into my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Please leave your comments, and if you have any questions, I will be, certainly be able to answer them for you as time permits. But looking forward to you joining the channel and being a part of what I'm trying to do here. I hope this video was inspirational for you in some way, and that you're able to take something from this with you. So thank you again. Subscribe. Don't forget to leave your comments as well. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Have some faith.